However, if you've received a recent monkeypox vaccine, you may need to wait 4 weeks before you can get a COVID-19 vaccine, and you should discuss this with your provider. Schedule your vaccination appointment with the Native American Community Clinic by calling 612-872-8086.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. An air quality alert is in effect. Freezing rain and snow likely tonight with a low of 25. Then a chance of snow and freezing rain possible Wednesday morning with a high of 33. The locally owned Vinaigrette has been offering the finest olive oils and vinegars since 2009. That's Vinaigrette, Xerxes Avenue and 50th Street in Minneapolis, or at vinaigrettemn.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives out there in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. And we discuss local and national Native news and events. And Native news and events, we discussed that, Ogama, and Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
And this portion of the show is brought to you by Minnesota 350, MN 350, which is a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice.
Hey, so we have like a terrible air here in the Twin Cities, the worst since 2005. And believe it or not, you can really feel it and smell it, Ogama. You know, that's not a good thing. They say it's because it's kind of warm out here with all the snow, but I say it's because of pollution and crap that, you know, that emissions and things like that, and lions and tigers and bears. But
it's a combination. Actually, one of the things I wanted to talk about in the news was this. A little bit about how it's happening.
We should have talked about that at our 2-hour prep before the show that we do every day.
Yeah. So bonjour, everybody. This is Ogama Ganuakwe, and I have some news and information for you here on Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency has said that Minneapolis has the worst winter air quality situation they've seen since December of 2005. It's 2023. It's been a long time since we've had this bad of air quality in the Twin Cities, and even up where I live, a couple hours north of the Twin Cities, it's still pretty bad up here. And the reason that there's really poor air quality is a combination of the quiet weather. Like you were talking about, Robert, there's snowstorms and heavy snow, and things are a little warmer than they should maybe normally be at this time of year. But they also, those winds, they stir the atmosphere, and they actually prevent the pollution from exhaust and smokestacks and chimneys and all those things from being able to like escape. So they start to collect, and they kind of get trapped in this little vortex that we have because of those winter storms. And there's a temperature inversion in the atmosphere. So that means there's basically like a lid on top of the Twin Cities, and it's keeping all of those pollutants near the ground. And that's happening throughout the entire state. And the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency said that because the temperatures are near freezing, the moisture released by the melting snow is also trapped particles near the surface. And then there's been an air quality alert in Minneapolis since Monday, and it's extended now until 6 p.m. tomorrow. It's from the Red River Valley southeast to Brainerd, St. Cloud, and all the way down to the Twin Cities. They're expecting that air quality is going to improve with a cold front later on this week, but it's definitely pretty rough. Orange and red conditions in much of Minnesota this week, Robert.
Yeah, I really feel it, and I feel like even though I was a longtime smoker, I haven't smoked in, I don't know, 17 years. I can still feel it. So that's not good. And first, like you said, or we both said that since 2005. So it's gnarly, and I hate to be one of those people. I went for my exercise this morning. I do that long walk in the morning, and I could feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I have a little one under a year old. She's about 10 months now. And we have not been outside the last couple of days just because it's just her little body can't process those particles nearly as well as an adult body can. So we've been really careful to keep her out of this as much as we can anyway, which for right now means inside, as much as it's not fun to have her inside, even though the weather's decent, right?
Right. Hey, maybe I forgot to mention too, we got Nancy Beaulieu on today, Ogama, and also Phillip DeVries from White Earth Tribal Community College, talking about some offerings there. So that's pretty interesting. Oh, wow.
Yeah, White Earth Tribal and Community College has some really awesome program offerings for emergency medical technician, certified nursing assistant, early childhood certification, and some other things. I believe they're going to be talking about that. And I've got some banners to put up for everybody. So if you're looking for a new career or something to get you by, there's some certificates that are available there. Robert, I wanted to touch base on something that you shared earlier this week. I was pretty excited to see about the only fabric store in Minnesota that is owned by 2 Native women. They just got their key, and they're going to have a new location in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. It's called Fire Mountain Fabrics, and you can find their designs on firemountainfabrics.com. And let me tell you all, it is some gorgeous stuff. Gorgeous material. So if you're somebody who sews, makes ribbon skirts, purses, they have cotton, satin, and sequin fabric on their website, as well as ribbon, bias tape, and elastic. They also sell what I think is really cool. They sell ribbon skirt kits. So for those of you who maybe want to make a ribbon skirt and kind of have some of the know-how, or an auntie or somebody that can come show you, but you just need the materials, and you don't want to go buy enough materials to make, if you buy a roll of ribbon, that'll probably make you several ribbon skirts with just that one color. So they just send you exactly what you need: pins, measuring tape, elastic, seam ripper, all those things. And they've got 2 different designs posted up right now, both for the same price, and they look really gorgeous as well. So exciting.
Yeah, I want a star quilt kit. That's what I want, so I can whip up a couple star quilts.
Yeah,
Wow.
aunties everywhere. Hear our prayers. We want star quilt kit.
Yeah.
Because I can do a 9 block, but I haven't tried a star quilt yet. So if anybody wants to give me some lessons, I'd be happy to try that. Hey Robert, do you remember some time ago when we had Bobby Dews on Native Roots Radio, and he talked about a play that the 1491s wrote? Do you remember that?
It's really interesting that you bring that up because I was telling you about that book that Wendy was reading that I started reading about Native comedians, and they went in depth about that play, which is really interesting. And then all of a sudden they came out to what you're about to say.
Yeah, so Dallas Goldtooth just posted up on social media and said that the 1491s wrote a play called Between Two Knees. And it's a story about what happened between the massacre at Wounded Knee and the Wounded Knee occupation. And it's a comedy that they wrote, and it's a play, but it's actually going to be at the MacArthur Theater in Princeton, New Jersey on January 31st through February 13th. And then it's going to be at a show in Seattle. Seattle Rep is what is tagged, but I'm not sure exactly the name of the venue. And that starts in March and runs March 3rd through March 26th. Dallas said there's probably never going to be a video of it available. So if you want to watch the madness, you're going to have to go and see it in a theater when it's in your town. And then he also wanted to note that the 1491s, they wrote the play, but they're not in it. It's actually performed by actual Native actors who have far more skills than us, is what he says. But it looks so exciting, and I'm really excited to see Native people taking over in the theater realm. I think we get spoiled with that here in the Twin Cities. You know, we have a new Native theater in the Twin Cities, but it's really good to see it in other places as well.
Yeah, let's hope they come to the Twin Cities, and I'll tell you what people really either loved it and got it at this festival, or they hated it. So we know where everyone lies with the hating and the making fun of things that people maybe would be thinking a little too serious about when it comes to possibly their own people do what they did to us. But that's another story, and maybe we'll get Bobby or Dallas on here soon. But hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Thanks, Ogama.
We are your relatives,
We are your relations,
brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters,
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
Homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Health insurance that fits my budget? I'm covered. I needed health coverage I could count on and afford. MNsure helped me find a plan that works for me, and they helped me save money. Did you know that most Minnesotans qualify for savings through MNsure? And they have free experts who can help you sign up for coverage. Go to mnsure.org today and get started and get covered. That's mnsure.org. mnsure.org.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Take care of your community by joining Metro Transit's Adopt a Stop program. Show your community pride by adopting a transit stop. Join us in helping keep the stop and your neighborhood beautiful, and report any maintenance needs to us. We'll put a sign at the stop recognizing your efforts, plus you'll get 10 free rides every month. Get details at metrotransit.org/adopt. That's metrotransit.org/adopt.
welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, this portion's brought to you by, I don't know, Ogama, what's this portion brought to you by? We just lost Ogama, I think. I am trying to do a couple things here at once, but I am with Phillip, and Phillip, you're going to be speaking on the White Earth Tribal Community College, and I am trying to. It's pretty funny here. Can you hear me all right, Phillip?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just had a little technical difficulty there for a second. I couldn't get the screen out there, but we're live all over here, and let's talk a little bit about what's happening with the White Earth Tribal Community College up there. And introduce yourself, please, as I pull myself together here. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so my name is Phil. I am actually originally from New York City and have wound my way through the U.S. and recently came to the sort of northwest Minnesota area. I actually live in Fargo now, but I am working at the White Earth Tribal and Community College in the customized education department as the program navigator, which basically means I'm like the student-facing person. So students here, if they want to do one of our programs, get set up with our grants that we get from the state of Minnesota, they'll usually come through my office, and I'll kind of tell them what we do and, help them get set up and stuff like that. So happy to be here to spread the word.
Awesome. Hey, so talk about maybe some of the programs that you got going on there, and are they specific? Can they do them online? We're all over the country too, and not only in Minnesota, but and I'm sure people know all about your school all over the country. So maybe you can tell us a few ins and outs and how we can sign up for this.
Sure. Yeah. So White Earth Tribal and Community College, we're located in Mahnomen, Minnesota, on the White Earth Reservation. And we stress the tribal and community college because the majority of our student body is Native, especially Anishinaabe, but we serve or aim to serve the wider community. But our program specifically, Customized Ed, we get grant funding, like I said, from the state of Minnesota, and kind of do two things. On the one hand, students attending classes here, pursuing an associate's degree or some sort of other kind of academic certificate, will help them with tuition assistance and other sort of school-related stuff. Kind of the goal being to remove a lot of the noise that surrounds going to college, so that they can focus more on their studies and worry less about like how to afford getting to school, stuff like, because we're pretty rural and spread out here. But then the other thing that we're really excited about is we have a number of workforce trainings that we've got up and running that are also funded by this grant. And we've chosen ones that we hope will serve the specific needs of this community. So right now we have a boiler operator training going, and there's that conveniently placed flyer right there. We have child development associate training as well. We have certified nursing assistant training, the emergency medical technician training, and solar PV installer training. So those might, I don't know, to listeners not in the area, seem kind of random, but they specifically are aimed to serve needs in this community. There's a real shortage of, childcare workers, medical workers and stuff like that. And also solar energy is kind of an exploding industry in this area. So we're trying to funnel people who might not otherwise know how to get into that field into it. And with our grant, you can, if you qualify for the grant, which I'll get to the eligibility requirements in a second, they're pretty lax. You can theoretically, if you qualify, take these classes with the cost of the class covered, cost of your books covered, cost of the exam fees, because usually they cost something, sometimes a lot, and we can cover that. And yeah, just basically the whole goal is to just get people into the workforce, or if they're already into the workforce, get them better wages or better careers, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm zoning in on the special boiler license too. If you're a custodian, let's say in a public school, that would be a big pay bump to have that license. As being a former school teacher, I know that you can move and groove then up the ladder and make really good money. And so these are really cool. And then solar, like you said, that's blowing up, and that's just good to know. And CNA training, we need that, more so than ever because there's such a shortage of that. So this sounds really good. So let us know what next steps are right now.
Sure. And I should, to one of your earlier questions, not all, but a lot of these classes are available with a virtual option. So for instance, the special boiler operator, like you mentioned, that the instructor pre-records all of his lectures, I guess you'd say. And there's a site where students can go to access all of that, and it can pretty much entirely be done online. You have to take a test at the end of it physically, but they have testing locations all around the country. So we chose these specific trainings based on our region, but they're not restricted to people within our region. And so to your other question, if people are interested in that next step, what I would recommend they do is either mainly reach out to me. So you can call my office. My number is 218-936-8326. Or you can email me. My email is just my name, Phillip, PHILIP .DeVries, DEVRIES @wetcc.edu. Or you can also go on to the White Earth website. There's specifically a customized education tab. You pull that up. And you can just sort of follow the prompts, and it'll let you fill out like a quick application that'll ultimately funnel you to me, and I'll get you going on next steps from there. So yeah, we try to make it pretty easy.
So when's the next cycle to sign up for school, or does it matter, or is it on a semester, quarter, dealy bob?
So the workforce trainings, it's pretty. I mean, you guys are in the Twin Cities, it's pretty cold. So we kind of took a pause for the deep winter, but we're gearing up to start up again. All these trainings will either be beginning in late February or early March. So there's still plenty of time to sign up. And we're still actively recruiting in this area. And the length of each one varies a lot. So like EMT is going to be a whole lot longer than say solar installer. But they roughly correspond to the academic semester. So most of them will be done by April or May.
Wow, that's excellent. And the number again is 218-936-8326. That's 218-936-8326. That's exciting. Really, being a former teacher, it's really great to hear these options. And also, I'm sure it's open to all ages too, because we're all different degree. Some, like myself, was a late bloomer. I really didn't get my degree until I was older, and so it's not a race, and maybe you'll find something here.
And I should clarify on that. Actually, the one age requirement for our program is you do have to be 18 or older. There's no cap, but you do have to be at least 18. So
that's a good point. That's a really good point. Well, we got like a minute left here. What part of New York are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn originally, but I moved upstate to, I don't know if you're familiar with Ithaca, New York. I moved up there when I was pretty young. Then I moved back to the city, then to New Orleans, then to Texas, then to Tennessee, and now finally here I am.
In God's country.
Exactly.
I'll be in New York starting tomorrow. We have a place in Long Island, so I'll be
nice
hanging up on Long Beach, hanging out on the ocean. So really excited and always get perked up. And so thanks for stopping in. Let's talk about that website real quick before we let you go, where we can go. It's www.etcc.edu. Thank you so much. And I'd like to get you on again before, the deadline is signing up to get this out there even again, if you don't mind.
Not at all. That would be great. I appreciate you having me.
Right on. Hey, we appreciate having you on. I'm having trouble talking today. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should do a smoke signal show. Oh, wow. Hey, thanks again, Phil. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back with Nancy Beaulieu, Bemidji 350. Thanks again.
Health insurance that fits my budget? I'm covered. I needed health coverage I could count on and afford. MNsure helped me find a plan that works for me, and they helped me save money. Did you know that most Minnesotans qualify for savings through MNsure? And they have free experts who can help you sign up for coverage. Go to mnsure.org today and get started and get covered. That's mnsure.org. mnsure.org.
We at AM 950 wanted to offer more thank you gifts for the great listeners who have become members. Brand new for 2023, AM 950 has the new National Parks poster featuring photos I took at the national parks. Members who sign up for a one-time $99.50 membership or recurring $25 per month membership will receive the brand new AM 950 National Parks poster and the AM 950 2023 calendar as a thank you. Go to am950radio.com, click on the tab, and become a member now. Thank you so much for supporting AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
The appliance industry is suffering from major delays with shortages on the horizon. The specialists at Warner Stelling have the area's best selection with thousands of appliances in stock for fast pickup or free delivery. Shop 10 Minnesota stores or at warnerstellian.com.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Hello, Minnesota. This is Tom Hartman, and you can catch me every weekday from 11 to 2 right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It's smart radio for smart people.
Now, more than ever, we are being faced daily with the topic of human mortality. And for many people, estate planning has been top of mind. Getting your estate planning done now can be easy and cost-effective. Schroman Law offers virtual options for initial consultations so that new clients can safely initiate the process. With many facing uncertain financial situations, Schroman Law also offers affordable fees for legal documents. Learn more at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. To avoid gimmicks, call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Seward Co-op is now offering convenient self-serve and prepackaged hot options and salad bars at both the Franklin and Friendship stores. Breakfast items available daily until 11 a.m. and brunch served all day every Sunday. Their weekly lunch and dinner menus highlight cuisines from around the world. They offer vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options daily. 95% of the ingredients used are organic from small-scale, local community food producers whenever possible. More at seward.coop.
Hey, Minnesota, it's Brad Friedman, your friendly investigative blogger, journalist, troublemaker, and host of the Bradcast. Weeknights at 7 on AM 950.
The Senior Linkage Line is a free statewide service of the Minnesota Board on Aging, helping older Minnesotans and caregivers find answers and connect to services and supports. Questions about Medicare, transportation, looking to move to senior housing, overwhelmed with prescription drug plans? Call the Senior Linkage line at 800-333-2433 or visit trellisconnects.org, where we help people optimize well-being as they age. That's trellisconnects.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. An air quality alert is in effect. Freezing rain and snow likely tonight with a low of 25. Then a chance of snow and freezing rain possible Wednesday morning with a high of 33. The locally owned vinaigrette has been offering oils and vinegars since 2009. That's Vinaigrette, Xerxes Avenue and 50th Street in Minneapolis, or at vinaigrettemn.com.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
Hey everybody, this portion of the show is brought to you by MN Sure. If you are looking for healthcare insurance, not sure where to start, make sure you head on over to mnsure.org. They have free experts that can help you find and sign up for a plan. Deadline is 5 days from now. Open enrollment closes January 15th.
Wow, thanks, Ogama. Hey, we have Nancy Beaulieu of Bemidji 350 there, and are you wearing camouflage? I can't see you. Oh, no, I guess not. It's just a cool design there. Hey, welcome, Nancy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I hope I have a good signal here, because I had to run from my office over into IEN's office. Can you hear me?
Hear you really good, and you look cool. You got the headband going on. So I
Right.
hear you
Well,
good.
probably 9 out of 10 times you'll find me in a headband. It's a lot easier than fixing your hair, Robert. So, and you know what? Honestly, it's a little bit more earth friendly. I don't need no hairspray, nothing like that. So I'm good to go.
Right on.
So yeah, I'm here actually in the building where our office is in Bemidji, Minnesota, on the 1855 land, and we are giving it a new look, but unfortunately I don't get a very good signal there, so I had to come over here, and I was kind of excited to give you all a peek too, so not tonight.
You have to send pictures, and then Ogama can post them next week. So what's happening up there in the deep north, and what's going on with Nancy Beaulieu and MN 350?
Well,
Hey,
the good news, Robert, is I have I think I'm back in a good
Yes,
way,
you
because I
are.
was called sick and went through some, a lot of challenges in the past. But you know what? They say what doesn't break you makes you stronger, right? So
Yeah, definitely.
kind of feeling good about 2023 and what that work looks like. So I think we were in shop talk here right before the show started, and we're excited, Robert, to call on our elected officials to further the Treaty 101 relationship building. And, what does a transition to environmental and racial justice look like based around treaty obligation? And so if we're not here to help create some of that space, I think, a lot of this work wouldn't happen. And I think when we do a lot of our political work, like Rock the Vote, that's why it's important, Robert, because now we have allies, on the city council and on the commissioner's board. And we called in the new sheriff in town and said, hey, you too have an obligation to be a good treaty person. So we're talking colonies, people into a round table one day, get together and figure out what the future can bring for all of us, and a future that we all can thrive in. So I'm really excited about that, and just being back in a good way. I feel for a long time, because of the that fatigue after COVID.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough, Robert. So I'm learning how to live with it, and just keep showing up regardless how tired I feel. But I think that's what
Yeah,
helps
that's
go away.
Yeah, definitely. You said something, Nancy, that really just struck me. If you were not personally you, but you were not doing the work up there, nobody else would be doing the work and showing up. So I want to amplify that, because that's a really good point, and that kind of just struck me when you said that. I know you flew right by that.
Well, my coworker and I were creating a job description for my work, and because treaty wasn't, at Minnesota 350 until, we brought it in. I want to say we, because it wasn't just the work I did, it was, us. So, but anyway, so just the thought of where it all started to where it's at now, and the job that I do at 350 didn't really have a job description. So we sat down and wrote one, and I thought I had everything in there. And one key thing that my coworker Andy brought out was, but you have so many political relationships, tribal ones, with your city council and with the commissioners, and that's hard to replace. But I hope that, the spaces that I do show up and hold space for us and create those spaces, that people are inspired to do the same, because, I'll have a voice, Robert. And, was on Women's Press magazine in December of 2021. At first, I couldn't accept the honor because I felt I couldn't. And the reason why I felt I couldn't, because I'm just following our original instructions to defend our way of life. And so I'm not doing anything extraordinary, but I've learned so much being here, Robert. And, building those relationships based around treaty obligation is the most inspiring part of my work, as challenging as it might be at times. You just keep showing up. And that's what I'm about.
Right on. And what's interesting too, I think in the last few years we've really focused on treaties. They've always been there, but it's been a really exciting road and trip to talk about those. And I think I hear more about treaties than I've ever heard in the last couple of years, thanks to you, but also I think it's catching on out there.
Right. There's so many different, battles out there on all those different front lines. And there's a lot of warriors out there. And these people stepping out of their comfort zones and running for office to be our voice at these tables. And, unfortunately, we shouldn't have to run for office to be at the table, because per treaty, we should have a designated seat at every level of government. And, and I hope that someday through all this work and the relationship building, that we, in maybe 5 to 10 years from now, we have a place at every table without having to run for office, because we shouldn't have to build a campaign and get all kinds of money to win a campaign to be heard. We should be heard, period, because of the treaty agreements that we have with the United States. So, I think that's why it's important that just everyday people like myself just keep showing up, and you do that in a good way, Robert, because I think more people are more curious to know more when you show up with good intentions, and remind people that they too signed those treaties with our ancestors, and they have an obligation. This ain't something of the past. This is now. This is today. And so how do we change all those systems that were designed to take our natural resources, deprive us of our cultural ways? And we shouldn't have to fight for them. Treaties protect those. So I really enjoy the space that that we create here in northern Minnesota to protect who we are as Anishinaabe in the 1855.
Well, I heard some exciting news too. You'll be down here once a month in the Twin Cities, working at the mothership of MN 350. So we'll have to try and hook up and have lunch. Oh, wow.
For sure. Yeah, and got to get on that war pony of mine. It likes to break down, every now and then. And I want to give another shout out to the person that, who paid that, because it means a lot to me. Because when, I'm not the only, Native out there that would love to show up, but we always have these things that happen, like, car repair or whatever it be. It tends to hold us back, and it makes it really difficult to some of these spaces. But I think, along with some of these spaces like this and Zoom, we're finding beautiful ways to build our power behind the scenes and show up in our broken down war ponies on the front lines. I couldn't ask for a better place. I really couldn't.
Yeah, and
so
just all the go ahead.
Yeah. So what I really wanted to tell our listeners, most importantly, as we begin a new year, we have to start talking more about our individual carbon footprints. and that's not a conversation nobody's having. And people think that it's not my problem, but it's collectively our problem, because there's that accumulative effect where maybe, oh, just one straw today. Think about all those people that just said, oh, just one straw. That was, we really need to think about who we are as Anishinaabe, as Ojibwe people, as sacred as we are. We have to live that way, Robert. And I want to start talking to people about what we can do to give up some of our bad habits, and understand that demand is part of that.
Yeah, I agree, Nancy. I think for me
Production of oil.
personally, right. And I think for me personally, being a water protector, a meatless Monday, that was a big thing. And I think bringing that back and talk and really promoting that, because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water just in one hamburger when it's all spread out. So, it's interesting when you start thinking about, what your footprint is on this planet, Nance.
Right. And you know what? I had to give myself well, I don't know if it's, a pat on the back, but I almost went to the meat section today, and I had to tell myself I need to slow down in there too, Robert. So I was kind of proud of myself. But, like I said, almost everything out there is probably bad for us one way or the other. And I think, when we talk about our way, that includes food sovereignty and, understanding that everything that's out there is for us, and it's not something that we should be exploiting or taking advantage of to the point where we don't leave anything for the seventh generation. So it is about lifestyle. And I want to have more conversations about that. And I'm asking people, like we did in our family, we gave up one bad habit at a time, Robert. And when we,
Yeah, that's
about that, we
oh, okay, you're
gave up
coming in and out, Nance.
the
But
bad
we got
habit using a
yeah, we
styrofoam.
got
I don't.
Oh,
we
I'm just going to mute Nancy for just a second, maybe until we see her unfreeze. I wanted to just highlight something I put on the bottom while Nancy's talking too. AdvanceNativePL.org is a good place for you to go if you want to run for office, if you want to try to take up that political leadership. They'll help you figure out how to run for office in your area at any level, I believe. So, Nancy, are you with us?
I am, and thank you for sharing that. Again, it's important to step out of those comfort zones and be a voice for our people. And there is support out there for that kind of stuff. And I encourage people to do that, because I have been inspired by done it that continue for us. And I'm out here to support. Also on the other side, building that people power. And so if you can't run for office, we got to learn how to vote, how to show up at the city council meetings and be a part of the dialogue and decision-making power, because that power is within us.
That's right on. Thanks, Nancy. We need to resist, divest, join a group, and run for office, and also get a better Wi-Fi signal. We'll see you next week, Nancy. Thanks for stopping in, and maybe next time we'll do a little smoke signals. We'll be right back after this short break. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Take care of your community by joining Metro Transit's Adopt a Stop program. Show your community pride by adopting a transit stop. Join us in helping keep the stop and your neighborhood beautiful, and report any maintenance needs to us. We'll put a sign at the stop recognizing your efforts, plus you'll get 10 free rides every month. Get details at metrotransit.org/adopt. That's metrotransit.org/adopt.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves. Please join Howling for Wolves on Wolf Day, Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at the Minnesota State Capitol. You can sign up on Howling for Wolves event page. Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
Hey, this portion of the show is brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Good one. Good one. Hey, Ogama, I don't know if you saw what came across was there was a Red Laker, a Native American pizza ranch franchise. I can't talk today. Is returning to his roots. Dennis Johnson is a member of the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians, and has a little connection to the reservation in northern Minnesota until the last few decades. Really interesting article. Did you hear about that?
You know, I did, and I was just looking for the article, and for some reason I'm not finding it. But yeah, I think I resonated with that article because I'm a member of the Red Lake Band, and I have, limited contact at times with the people and family that I know up there because of distance and other reasons, but it looks like he's been working actually for the Ho-Chunk Nation for quite a while, and now he's going to be opening a new pizza restaurant in Bemidji, which is so exciting. Bemidji's getting a pizza ranch restaurant, and it's going to be Native owned, which is so exciting.
Right. The Pizza Ranch has 211 locations across 14 states. The brand has been franchised since 1984. And most of its units are in Dakotas, Iowa, and Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got one up here near where I live, and we were just in Bemidji recently a couple of times, and I remember thinking, Bemidji could do with something like a pizza ranch. Not to say Bemidji doesn't have great local eats. They have wonderful local businesses and local restaurants there, like Nancy's friend who works and owns at the Wild Hair Bistro downtown. I mean, really, really great small town atmosphere, but it's kind of nice when, you're traveling with a family to know there's a franchise that you know and trust, and even better when it's Native owned.
Yeah, definitely. So that's exciting news, and it's always fun to amplify these entrepreneurs that are doing great things. And he works for Nebraska's the Winnebago Ho-Chunk Nation, not the tribe, but the Ho-Chunk Inc., which is doing great things down in Nebraska and all over the country, really.
Yeah, I believe he's listed as Chief Investment Officer. Does that sound right?
Yeah, definitely. So he's trying to do good things, and it's funny. I heard an interview with Mark Cuban, who I always watch and always appreciated over the years, and he just says that he was lucky over the years and he's been giving back a lot. And I think we talked a little bit about his Mark Cuban has a online pharmacy, and the prices are unbelievably inexpensive, and the the developers are making more, and he's just cut out the middleman. So it's always, people that are doing good things and maybe have made their millions and have had enough money and they can return to their community and help them out in a good way. So that kind of reminds me of that, and that's admirable, and also the right thing to do if I was to take his inventory, so to speak.
Right. And, it's really important, even, maybe before we start making those millions, that the things that you're doing, they do reflect back on your community and your people, and remembering to carry that responsibility that as a Native person to give back to your community in whatever way you can. It doesn't have to be, being as an entrepreneur or having a lot of money and then coming back. There's ways to give back, before you reach that point too. And I know I talk about it a lot on Native Roots Radio in the wintertime, but making sure to take care of our relatives in any way you can. If you have the means to take care of our relatives that are unhoused or struggling with places to stay during this cold weather, even if it's just, offering a pair of warm mittens or extra dry socks, or helping them to get to a shelter. Those things mean the world to our relatives that need that help. And I want to go back to what the Native American Community Development Institute t-shirts say. They say Native Americans were never homeless before 1492 or before 1491.
What's interesting too, when we had Angelica on, talking about basically having a box of things in your car when you're driving that you can hand out to homeless people, and especially in the cold. But I'm telling you, when you were talking, I'm thinking, well, we've had heat too, so heat's pretty crazy when it comes to homeless people. So it's just yeah. And I like what you said too, Native Americans haven't been homeless since have only been homeless since 1491, and I'm really having trouble talking here, Ogama.
I'm probably not far behind you today with the kind of day I'm having. For those of you that happen to be watching us on air, I had to have the baby on my hip for this show, which is not normally what we do. And I've got some family back in the house now to help her be entertained while I do this last segment. But, Robert.
Just to be clear, Ogama, I can't pay the baby to be on. So
okay, that's okay. I think she understands. I think she'll be okay. She's just grateful for the exposure,
There you go. Right. Exactly. So
it's only Tuesday, Robert, and we've got the whole week left to figure out. So tune into Native Roots Radio this week as we get progressively goofier as we go throughout the week. But we've got some really exciting stuff planned for later on in the week too, right, Robert? On Friday, we're going to re-air some stuff from our Monday show.
Right. And then we'll have Mary Kunish on too. What's interesting, I just wanted to back up too, and what you said here in the last couple minutes, and about yesterday's show was pretty awesome, and just some really good things going on, and it was our pleasure, Ogama, to amplify what's going on in the Deep North and all the atrocities. I just think of this former president who's skipping around, and then people working for him that should be in prison that are running off to another country to help incite another January 6th. It just blows my mind, because if it was you and me, we would have been in jail and then in prison a long time ago. And these politicians or business people, or however you want to categorize them, they are getting away with things that normal people wouldn't. And I think that's a thing that's really disappointing, because it's always been that way, but I still don't like it.
Yeah, it's harder when you see it. For those of you who weren't able to tune in yesterday, Native Roots Radio, both at the 12 Central Hour and then some parts of it again, played at the 6 p.m. hour for us on our show yesterday. Honor the Earth hosted a Rally for the Rivers reunion 2 years ago on January 9th, was one of the largest actions against the Line 3 pipeline in northern Minnesota, where Aiken County Police arrested people that were in lodge or in prayer and dancing, and were taking the time to really single out these water protectors and violate their treaty rights. And Winona LaDuke and Tara Hauska and Tanya Abed and others came on and told their story about how they were arrested. And they also had citizen scientists come on and talk about how this pipeline did all the damage they said it was going to do. So really good thing to catch if you have time to watch it again.
Yeah, and it's what's interesting too. What was happening across the pond there about their insurrection? They arrested 1,000 people. No one was arrested in real time with the insurrection at the Capitol. So again, we have people like Winona LaDuke being arrested. Hey, great show. I can't speak. We'll be right back. No, we won't. See you tomorrow. Oh.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy